My name's Tom Heffelfinger, and I consent to being filmed by the Center for American Progress Action Fund. What is that?
It's the progressive think tank in D.C.
I'll still talk to you.
Well, we're on your side. So,
can never tell from names anymore.
Well, first thing I want to ask you is about some of your experience with the Gonzales Justice Department. How would you describe it? A few sentences, positive, negative.
Well, the Gonzales Justice Department publicly adhered to the same policies as were established under General Ashcroft in 2001. It was in the smaller details, the behind-the-scenes details, and some of the unspoken priorities where they differed from General Ashcroft.
How so?
Well, as you have seen with the hiring and firing crisis that's evolved, there was a clear intent to focus on politics, but more than even politics, ideology, and stacking offices both at the career level and the political level. That was a departure from the first Bush term, when the focus was on getting people who were qualified into their position and supporting them in doing their job.
Attorney General Mukasey came in with a lot of bipartisan support, obviously, and there's this hearing recently where he said he didn't find the department politicized when he came in. He hasn't made a lot of changes that people have pressed him to do as far as getting rid of some of that politicization, some of the old guard that was left with Gonzales. How do you view Mukasey's leadership on that issue in particular, politicization?
A lot of the politicization of the department was carried on by staff members in the Attorney General's office, the Deputy Attorney General and staff members in his office, all of whom were gone before General Mukasey took office. What that left him with was primarily career people who are not politicized. And it doesn't surprise me that he didn't see that when his primary interaction would have been with long-term career DOJ lawyers.
But do you think that the people who engage in the politicization, Monica Goodling, and you know all the names, do you think that they can be, the actions that they did, were they criminal? Can they be held accountable for those? Should they be let out? How should they be dealt with?
I don't know that their conduct was criminal, and I haven't researched it, to tell you the truth. I'm very satisfied that we got rid of them and that they're no longer there. I have a lot of loyalty to the Department of Justice. Anybody who's worked there as long as somebody like me has feel the same way. And having people in that office who weren't committed to professionalism, over partisanship, into a rule of law, over petty politics, who were prepared to run an administration within the department like it was a high school corridor. Getting rid of those people in itself is a victory.
Anything else? Should anything else be done to them?
I'll leave that to Mr. Mukasey, or Attorney General Mukasey, and the House and Senate Judiciary Committees. There is a report, has yet to be released, by the Inspector General in the Office of Professional Responsibility that will look into their conduct. They were all lawyers, and that report has yet to be issued.
Do you favor holding Karl Rove in contempt of Congress?
I don't know enough about what the basis for the contempt would be. I understand that the House Judiciary Committee feels very strongly about that. I know it has to do with failure to provide documents and to appear, but I don't have an opinion on that.
What's your view on Don Siegel in this case? Do you think there's something there that did push the prosecution?
I don't know what communication went on between the U.S. Attorney and Rove, if any. I don't know how to answer that.
Do you think you were pushed out?
I know I was not pushed out.
How so?
because I'm the one who made my own decision to leave. The decision to leave was based entirely on my own personal needs, primarily my need to have some money so I could put my daughter through college. There was no contact with me at all from anybody in Washington prior to my telling them that I was resigning. So I made that decision on my own.
How do you feel about the people, the U.S. Attorney who replaced you, Rachel Palos?
Well, she's long gone too, and she did harm to the U.S. Attorney's office in Minneapolis. But the fellow who's acting right now has done a great job, and the office is performing very well.
Great, appreciate it.
I will add one thing about my efforts. One of the things that I found very disappointing after I left, and after the termination of the 7 U.S. attorneys, was when it was revealed by Ms. Goodling in a testimony before the House Judiciary Committee that my name was on a list before I left for possible removal because I was spending too much time on Native American issues. And I find that to be inexcusable. That somebody who was assigned the responsibility of trying to improve safety in Indian country would somehow be considered for removal because they were working on it too hard is simply shameful.
Did the department tell you not to work on it so hard before? Did they tell you to work on it that hard?
The reality is that both Ashcroft and Gonzalez told me to do it. But the people about whom Goodling is referring are the people who were in the 2nd or 3rd tier of leadership, who frankly didn't understand the crisis being faced, public safety crisis being faced in Indian country. And those are the ones who were about whom she was speaking.
Did you make contact with senior leadership in the DOJ about that list after you found out?
No.
And after that, you resigned shortly?
No. I resigned before I learned anything. I resigned in February. I was gone by the 1st of March, and it was only about a year later that I began to hear rumors about some list. So there was no indication that I had at all that I was doing anything other than stellar work, both in my district and in Indian country.
When did you start hearing rumors that there was a list?
It would have been in the winter of 2008, after the...
2008? 2006?
2007. I'm sorry, getting my years. The I left in March of 2006. They got fired in December of 2006. It was in the spring of 2007 that I began hearing rumors about lists.
And you heard you didn't hear anything from Washington about any complaints about what the work you were doing?
No, my office had good reviews. I had good reviews. Everything was going great.
You're happy about the way the DOJ has been running since Gonzalez resigned?
I still have good friends there, and from what I am hearing, morale is improved. Things are still quiet. There are a lot of empty offices. A lot of initiatives are not being pursued, but I think what I have heard that is, I think, really encouraging is that the Justice Department's back in the hands of professionals. That General Casey really cares, is really working at trying to put together a good department. The problem is he just doesn't have enough time.
Do you think Karl Rove had a role in any of this? If so, how much could you? I know you said you haven't researched it, but could you project? Is this something that would surprise you?
I am confident that there was communication between Goodling and Sampson and people at the White House. Who those people are, I don't know. At how high a level it is, I don't know.
You're confident the White House was involved in making the list?
I'm confident that the White House was consulted, either at the beginning or in the middle or even at the end of the decision to remove a bunch of U.S. attorneys. Who it was there, I don't know.
Is there anyone you think should be held accountable in particular?
Actually, I think the School of Public Opinion has already held accountable people like Sampson and Goodling and General Gonzalez.